Well, the Boston Bruins coming into the game did not have Patrice Bergeron. And yet they find a way to beat the Leafs 3-1 at the Air Canada Centre, and now we head back to Boston for Game 5, down 3-1 in the series. Now, what we saw early on for this team, and this is after they scored the first goal, the Leafs put a lot of pressure on, and their defense were pinching, they were making smart decisions, they were making good plays, and it was just looking great. The Leafs were playing really well. But like I said, they scored really early on. 28 seconds in, a floater from Torrey Krug screened Freddie Anderson. It finds a way in the top corner. Leafs down 1-0, 28 seconds in. Later in the period, though, Mitch Marner makes a diving kind of pass to Marleau, who directs it to Plekanec. His first goal as a Toronto Maple Leaf, and it's a big one at the time. Ties the game at 1 apiece. And the Leafs put a ton of pressure on. They play a very good first couple periods. They score they tie the game up, making 12-7 in the first period in shots, 10-9 in the second period in shots. But the problem is, the Leafs were pinching, and they were being smart for the most part. But when they made the pinches and they made the wrong choice, the Bruins made them pay. Jake Gardiner pinches up on the boards and immediately knows it's a mistake, but it's too late. Because now you got Pasternak and Marchand down on the 2-on-1, and you know what's coming here. A cross ice pass to Marchand, wide open net, hits the middle bar, Leafs down 2-1. It's not over yet, but the Leafs got to get a goal. You head into the third period down 2-1, and pretty much the same thing happens. Travis Dermott tries to keep the puck in, does not. Here comes David Krejci, cross ice, Jake DeBrusk into the back of the net. 2 2-on-1 goals are the reason the Bruins won it, because the Leafs were over-aggressive. Now, they were great in the first little bit because they weren't making the stupid mistakes on being aggressive. You know, they were being very, they were pinching, yes, but they were picking the right spots. They did get lucky at times, but it's, again, and the Leafs just could not beat Tuukka Rask. As much as I'm a Leaf fan and I want to hate Boston, Tuukka Rask played a great game. The Bruins, without Patrice Bergeron, played a great game, and Riley Nash filled in perfectly for them without Patrice Bergeron in the lineup. And Leaf fans, I mean, it's technically not over yet. If you look back to 2013, we were in the same situation, down 3-1 heading back to Boston, I think it was. So, I guess technically it's not over yet, but this team's got to find a way, and it's going to be tough. I mean, I love my Leafs. I love what they've done all season. Those first 2 games really come back and haunt you now. You won that one game. If you came back and won today, those 2 games were a wash. And they looked very promising, the Leafs, in today's game. They outshot the Bruins 32-21. But as we've seen all year around, shots on goal don't really matter. It's the quality of chances and what goes in the back of the net and who's the better goalie on that night. You cannot blame Freddie Anderson for those 2 2-on-1 goals. You just can't. He takes the shooter, the other guy takes the pass. Clearly, the pass was not taken, and they were in the back of the net because of that pass. And, I mean, a positive for Leaf fans, I guess. Nazem Kadri is back for Game 5. But, I mean, really, we got slaughtered in Boston for 2 games. The Leafs got to come out in the next game on Saturday night and come out desperate. Because if they don't, they're done. Now, 3-1 series is going to be, it's going to be a really, really tough hill to climb. But I guess you got to use the saying, take it 1 game at a time. But really, the Leafs, I mean, they played a great game today. But Tuukka Rask and their defense scored. Torrey Krug was great. Chara's stick, I mean, that's all I need to say about that. And the ability to block shots. I'm going to go down here to the block shots category. And, okay, we had more, so I don't know if they don't have the block shots category, so never mind. But it felt like the Boston Bruins were so good at getting in the shooting lanes for the Leafs. Every time they took a shot from the point, it was getting blocked. Or if it wasn't getting blocked totally, it was getting slowed down heading to the net. The hits, we talked about in the last game, the Leafs won that game in hits because they were more physical. They weren't flying big hits, but they were more physical on the puck. Today, not so much. 40-26 in favor of the Bruins in hits. The Leafs got the 1 power play, couldn't do anything with that. Referees for the second game in a row have let these teams play. But the Leafs lose. And we're in desperate mode now, I guess. The better team is winning the series, though. As much as, I'm a Leaf fan, and I want to say that this team deserves to be in a better situation. But you come out in the first 2 games and you play like the way they did, it's hard to come back from that. And they played great in the last game, and they played a really good game in this one. But a lot of gambles, and you got kicked in the butt for it. That's really what happened today. And let's try and put this game behind us, and I guess looking forward to Game 5, but it's going to be a tough one. It's going to be a tough one in Boston. Down 3-1. 8 o'clock puck drop there at TD Garden. Really not much else to say. The Leafs played a pretty good game overall. Like I said, a lot of chances were taken, and they got burned for their mistakes, all right? So you know what, guys? Shorter video, but you know what? That's going to do it for this one. You guys enjoy this video, and if you guys enjoy this video, smack that like button. I do appreciate that. Hit the subscribe button if you guys have not already. Comment down below what you guys think of the game. Where did the Leafs go wrong? Look, the Bruins have played a good series, and they're a young team mixed with some older veterans that know how to win. That's how you do it, right? And they're a good team. The Leafs are just, I mean, maybe they're not there yet. I don't know what you want to call it, but they're just having a tough time right now. They look for a desperate win in Game 5, all right? So you know what, guys? We'll talk to you guys. So hopefully next Tuesday night, podcast edition. Link is in the description for the podcast channel and the podcast itself on iTunes. Go check that out down below. We'll talk to you guys Raptors edition tomorrow night as they look for the 3-0 series lead over the Washington Wizards, hoping for a better Toronto sports night than tonight was because the Jays also lost. Speaking of the Jays, we'll talk to you guys a little bit, I guess not too long after this video. Jays edition as they lost 4-3 to the New York Yankees. We'll get to why they lost that game in a second. And we'll talk to you guys Leafs edition. I mean, that video, it might be uploaded a bit later on Saturday night. I'm not exactly sure. My buddy's got a wedding, and I'm going to be attending that. So I'm not exactly sure what time that video will be uploaded to you guys. I'm hoping right after the game, but hey, I don't know. I'm hoping the video will be uploaded that night, just not sure when. All right, so we'll talk to you guys then. Hoping for the Leafs to stay alive and at least get another game at the Air Canada Centre. Game 5 goes Saturday night, 8 p.m. puck drop in Boston at TD Garden. Let's find a way. We'll talk to you guys then.